Rise and grind. Welcome to this episode of Man Down. And today I want to talk about not renting and owning. As you can see, I'm sitting here in my backyard. This is one of my properties that I own. I've got several properties that I rent. Duplexes, single family homes, and I am now in this home, which is in a suburb of Los Angeles. But I want to tell you about my journey and about the day when I got to that point, that moment of realization, the moment that I said that I will never rent again. I was working in corporate America, great job. My wife had a great job. Things were going good. This is about 2008, and we bought a condo. The market collapsed. We made a horrible decision. We bought a place that was grossly overvalued, and in the end, we lost it. We bought a condo for over $300,000 back in the early 2000s. Grossly overvalued. We lost that condo. We ended up doing a short sale. And the person who bought it for $100,000 cash. The guy who bought it met with me and said that he would allow me to rent from him. And so now we had gone from owning the condo to now renting the condo. The first time that the new owner came through, he walks through my home, or what used to be my home, and he had this look of disgust. He was looking through and he kept saying things like, yeah, I'm gonna rip this out, or oh yeah, this has to go, and this was my home, a place that I valued. After living there under this new arrangement where I was no longer the owner, but now I was the renter, the first time for me to pay rent came about. And so I got in my car, drove to his house. I had my check in my hand, walked up to his door, rung his doorbell, looked around at his meticulously cut grass, looked around at his beautiful neighborhood, and I stood there and waited for him to open the door. I'm standing at his doorstep with my check to pay for what used to be mine. He paid a third of what I paid for it. And now I was going to be paying rent to him. And by me paying him rent, that was going to lead to him one day fully owning what used to be mine. I stood there at the doorstep waiting for him to answer, and I realized then that I had it all backwards. I realized then that I didn't understand the world. I didn't understand real estate. I didn't understand how money is made. I didn't understand the economy. I thought I had it all figured out. I had a bachelor's in business, a master's in business, but I didn't understand how the real world works. And so I bought something that was overvalued and lost it. And this man who understood the world got it at a fraction of the price. And now guys like me, a guy who's trying to work really hard and do the right things, I was the sucker in the story. And so as I'm standing there waiting for him to come, I've got this revelation, this understanding, this newfound knowledge. He opens the door. I give him the check. And with a smirk, he says, "See you next month." I looked at him and I said, "You won't." I turned around and walked away. Within the next month, I had bought another house. I became determined. I vowed that I would never be in that same predicament ever again. I vowed that I would learn how the world works. And so my family, we bought a house. I'll give you the numbers. We bought a house for $400,000, and now today that house is worth $900,000. We started figuring out how the world works. And now, every month, someone sends me checks for rent. Now, every month, someone is walking up to my door to hand me a rent check. Now, instead of paying rent in a condo, I'm sitting here poolside. Everything changed for me when I made it up in my mind that I'm going to learn how the world really works. And so one of the things that we want to do with this channel is start sharing some of this information, sharing some of this knowledge, so that you too could understand how the world really works. I never thought it'd be possible to live the life that I live. This pool behind me, we haven't been in this pool in about 6 months. We live a life filled with luxury, filled with reward. And it wasn't because I started working harder. It was because of that revelation of understanding that I didn't know what I needed to know. And so I took the time and I started learning about interest rates, learning about the stock market, learning about foreign currencies, learning about cryptocurrency, learning about all the things that make the world turn. Once I started learning, I started earning. And so now I own. You've got to go from being just a worker, being just a renter, being just a guy, a laborer. And you've got to become an owner. You've got to become a master of industry. You've got to become a change agent. You've got to become a decision maker. And all that's needed is a change in your mindset. All that's needed is for you to come to that realization that your life can be different when you change the way you think. Rise and grind.